a choice of mine to smoke, I shouldn't have to pay.
You don't hear it. Don't hear it. Yeah.
Okay.
Some people lie. They say they're not a smoker, and you know they're smoking.
Nobody lies. What do you mean? Yes. Yes, some of them do.
Because who's going to tell them?
Yeah, I'm not a smoker. At least not
They
the
just
last
check no, but
hour or
they
so.
run outside and smoke.
That's true. That's true. Which I would submit to you probably means you have a different problem with that person. But yes.
So if you're a small employer, you know, the experience I've had is the insurance companies don't give you a different premium for a smoker or non-smoker. So there's no motivation there.
Right. And that's one of the challenges of being in a small pool is when you get, because reduce your population size enough, your ability to differentiate premium disappears. Because I don't have a population big enough of these people versus those people to know. And so you just kind of get lumped in. It's one of the big challenges facing smaller companies, right? Is that, well, how do I reduce my premium? I don't know. What are your choices? Not so many. And it is a challenge. It's easier for bigger employers to do it. The unlikely rise of the Affordable Care Act. I mentioned this earlier, and I got to be involved in that work in 2008 and 2009. What was really interesting is the intent of the Affordable Care Act was to expand coverage and make it more affordable. Well, didn't do too bad on expanding coverage. Didn't do so good on making it affordable, at least not now. Right? So for all of you, especially your smaller employers, and what was really interesting too is that companies thought, and Pfizer amongst them, were like, boy, if this happens, all the big employers are going to say, thank God I'm out of the business of that, because we're going to just give them all to the pool. And all the big companies were watching each other. When the ACA passed, the first cycle went by and everyone was like, how many people got in? How many big employers said, we're not going to offer it any more to employers or employees. We're going to let our employees choose from the pool. Didn't happen. Second year, this will be the year. This will be when it happened. Didn't happen. Third year, it's not going to happen. Why? Because employers looked at it and said, that's not competitive advantage. Which gets to that very interesting point when you talk about any of these benefits, any of these programs that you offer. Can you prove the return on investment? Probably not. Is it giving you competitive advantage to attract, retain, engage people? Probably. And that's where you wind up with what talks about the benefit. And the likely demise of the Affordable Care Act. It was just last week or so, the current administration said, yeah, we're not going to pay those big premium deposits to the insurance companies anymore. I don't know what's going to happen with the ACA, except I'm pretty sure in the next year or so, it will essentially be dead. That's
Pieces of it. You can't undo a lot.
Oh yeah, you can't undo the pieces that are done by statute, but the funding mechanisms and the rest of it. And the other issue is that one of the fundamental intents of it, which was to reduce cost, never happened. So what does that mean for us in the employer space? It means it will continue to be uncharted territory. So we have to pay attention. We've got to listen to our friends at Zapoznik and others who are informing us about, well, which way is this going? Any of you guys read about this? Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and JP Morgan recently announced they're going to form their own insurance company. Did you guys see that? For their employees? What is that going to be like?
Disruptive.
It is going to be self-funded. It could be disruptive. What's going to be fascinating, and from my perspective, is can they make it work? Because what do you know? How many of you guys have been a doctor in the last year? What did you spend the 15 minutes doing? Filling out all the forms. Hey, don't you already have these? Didn't I do these months before? What's going to be really fascinating to watch is can these guys find a way to get the efficiencies of scale in healthcare that the Affordable Care Act did not. That, I think, is going to be really interesting. So let's talk about us. Let's talk about our role. How many of you people are HR people? I describe myself as a retired and recovering HR executive. Thank God. Thank God. That's after 20 some odd years of that, I continue to work for the same lady. That's my boss, right back there in the pink. Also my wife. We said, you know what? Let's go down to Florida. Let's live where it's beautiful, and let's just do this for ourselves. And so that's what we do. She's a personal trainer, holistic nutrition consultant. We're both yoga teachers, oddly enough. And we try to put that together for wellness and sport. That's the end of my commercial for that. But this idea of where is it going? It gets to be a really interesting question. And for us as HR people, what is our job? I was having a conversation with one of the vendors. I won't tell you who. One of the vendors before the meeting, they said, you know what? You can't get in to see these people. They won't see you. Talking about you. Yeah, well, knowing laugh. And I said, yeah, that was me for all those 27 years, whatever it was. People call and say, can we come and see it? No. Why? Because A, are you busy? Are you looking for something really new and different and controversial to bring to your workplace? Oh, come on. Where's your spirit of adventure? No, we're HR people. We're taking care of people. We're taking care of the business. We're trying to get stuff done. And something that is really new and different might be interesting, but I got to sell it. And that's, more time than I got, probably. So we talked about our roles. How many of you consider yourself to be an advocate of wellness in the workplace? Show of hands. Okay. What does that mean? What's that mean?
I live it.
I live it personally. Thank you. Beautiful. Somebody else, what does it mean?
Educate.
Educate. Share. Thank you. What else? What does it mean?
Engage.
How so?
Get all your employees to come and
Yes.
be a part of what you're doing.
So live it, learn it, teach it, share it. That's what an advocate does. And if you're not an advocate, no judgment here. Because I wasn't for the longest time. It just wasn't. Wellness, and that's really interesting. Let's focus on the business. I was Chief Talent Officer at Pfizer Inc. for several years. But I was the MBA guy, not the PhD type. So it's like, it doesn't make sense, we're not going to do it. Which has been an interesting transition to come to realize that just because we can't measure it doesn't mean it's not real. And so learning about it, living it, sharing it, these are the ways that we can be an advocate. The design, anybody here design wellness programs? Do we have any of those guys in the house? Yeah? Two of you. Each of you, what do you do?
Director of Wellness Programming.
There she is. That is the design. What does that mean?
That means that I basically take your employees and see kind of where you guys are at in your wellness program, and then try to innovate and find different ways to do it.
Okay, cool, thank you. And you had your hand up.
I'm Janella. So I'm doing leadership and everything.
Okay, a little bit of everything, nice. So we are advocates, we are designers, we are the implementers, because if you're HR, that's one thing you are more than anything else, right? It's like, gotta get it in, gotta get it done. We are the measurers, if there's any measurement to be done. Here's one of the biggest risks in HR, is that we do something because somebody wants it, or we think it's a great idea, but we're not really gonna measure it, because measurement takes time and effort and money. And then a year later, when the chief financial officer comes and says, what did we get? I don't have an answer.
But that's why you hire a wellness company to do it for you.
Well, there you go. There's the pitch. Right? Boom, there she is. And you know what else we are, guys? And I was one of the biggest ones. We're the roadblock. When it comes down to wellness, we are the roadblock. And sometimes we're that for the right reasons, but we have to be thoughtful about what we're doing when it comes down to wellness in the workplace. I'd say, what are you doing today, but you've already answered that, and you are here. So now I'll just take the last 5 minutes and it's Q&A. Questions, questions, questions. Observations, what do you think of what we said? Yes?
So I feel like we talk a lot about data and return on investment and stuff like that. But a lot of it is we have holes. People are not researching these things. They're not collecting this data. They're not doing that stuff. How do we go about that? Like, how do we trickle that effect, that butterfly effect? Because then we can actually bring to upper management something that we can present to them and say, this is why you need to invest in this.
That's a great question. What I have found seems to work better, well, first of all, for some people, it doesn't matter what you tell them or what you bring them. The study says it's kind of like, it's not true in my experience, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, there you go. But when you look at where the research is emerging, and just like the studies that I referenced in this presentation, and this isn't rocket science. You can sit there and Google benefits of wellness programs, and you'll get a ton of stuff. Because in the end, what you have to point to a leader is that this is the benefit. But before I start with the benefit, what I like to do, and I've always done in my job, is I ask the leader, what problem do we need to solve for? Because in the end, if you're bringing solutions, if you're bringing hammers looking for nails, you're not adding value as the HR partner. What we're doing is talking to the leader about, well, what are the nails? What are the nails that need to be hammered? And if it sure turns out that some of this is around wellness and presenteeism and absenteeism and attention and discretionary effort, now maybe I've got some ways to talk around wellness in the workplace. Yes.
The big buzzword also is recruiting and retaining. The new workforce that's coming in, if you see, like I was down in South Beach, I think last week, and you see bicycles everywhere you go now, and they're actually painting on the roads bicycle ways for people to ride their bicycles. This is what's going on in the world today. So you as an employer, you could either not do it or engage and do it, because you're going to attract what's out there. The people today, they want this. They enjoy it. They don't want to just come and work. They want to have fun. So it's not only knowing my numbers, getting those claims down, it's retaining your workforce, because that's where they spend most of their time. And with millennials coming into the workplace, coming in and this isn't for me, I'm out, make it fun for them so that they, enjoy where they work.
Yep. In my experience, when you talk about engagement as discretionary effort and intent to stay, that's what matters. So whatever it is I'm bringing to the table, I want to get people willing to give me more of their effort, and I want them more interested in staying. And if I get bumps in either one of those numbers, and a lot of you guys do surveys and you measure this stuff, what else do you need? Yes, ma'am.
So as far as what she was saying, then you could expand on that and like have bike racks,
Absolutely.
in your parking lot, and maybe even have showers when they come in, if they want to change their clothes, have lockers.
Yep. When you think about, and the talent target is a really great question. I'm going to wrap up right now. The talent target is, what talent are you going after, and what do they want? So rather than try to imagine what it is, know what it is, and then tailor your things to that. You guys have been a pleasure. It's been fun. Thank you.